Ohio University opened up its weekend of action looking to face off against the Broncos of Western Michigan. The game started ugly for the Bobcats as the Broncos were able to jump to a 7-2 lead looking to set the tone early. Western Michigan was dominating Ohio above the net, but they kept making mistakes that would keep the Bobcats within striking distance, and going into a timeout, the Broncos led 15-11. Ohio would go on to tie the set at 16 and would take their first lead of the match 20-19. After a timeout, Ohio went on a 4-0 run and were looking to close out the set, but in the spirit of Halloween coming soon, the Bobcats gave everyone a scare by allowing Western Michigan to score 3 straight before finally closing out the period 25-23. Both teams came to play to start the second period as neither team was able to break away until the Broncos scored 3 straight and forced an Ohio timeout with the score at 15-12. Following the timeout, the Bobcats offense began to wake up, and in the blink of the eye, the score was 18-18. But this didn't last long as the Broncos answered and ended up winning the set confidently 25-20. After a trip to the locker room, both teams entered the third set hungry to take a lead, and it was Ohio who jumped out to a 4-0 lead before allowing Western Michigan to score a point on a bad serve. The Broncos would slowly creep their way back into the set and would go on to tie it at 16. Following this, both teams traded scores all the way to 24, but that's when the Bobcats were able to pull away and win the set 26-24. Ohio only needed one more set to put this match to an end, and they jumped out to an early 8-4 lead. But after a timeout, the Broncos offense finally began to make some noise, and they were able to tie and then steal the lead from Ohio 15-14. And after 2 more scores from Western Michigan, it looked like the Bobcats were done for. But then Ohio came back and tied the game at 18-18. Then the Broncos took a 21-18 lead. Then the Bobcats responded again, tying it at 21. Finally, Ohio took a 24-21 lead before ultimately winning the set 25-22 and winning the match overall 3-1. The Bobcats were led by Caitlin O'Farrell, who had a game-high 19 kills. Head coach Geoff Carlston talks about how she's used in Ohio's game plan.
When we get her the ball out of system more than pretty much anyone else, you can't just let her go. That's a huge. And they started camping on her and kind of hanging out with her, and so we were able to open up some of our other hitters. But we run a lot of our offense through Caitlin.
This win notched off Ohio's 5th in a row and set them up for another game of action right here in the Convo Saturday against Northern Illinois. For WMU Bobcat Showcase, I'm Max Mingay.